This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Okay, so Tommy TNT Fury has responded to, firstly, him not being allowed into the United States of America. That's his August 6th fight with Jake Paul now being off, and has turned down a new offer from Jake Paul to fight in the United Kingdom. And this is what he had to say. I'm gutted and disappointed in regards to the issues I have faced with entry into the USA. This is something that myself or my team could have never anticipated happening. This situation has been left with my lawyers, as being denied entry to a country is obviously a very serious issue and it needs to subsequently be resolved. I'm confident this fight will happen when this issue gets resolved and we come to a solution. I want to clarify that I will fight in a neutral country that both parties can enter. This can be any time, any place, anywhere. Tommy TNT Fury's statement. TNT, yep. Looney Tunes. Now, when it comes to the next part of it, well, Jake Paul has said this to Tommy Fury. I'm confident you are a scared little boy who doesn't want to fight or understand business. I will pay you 500 grand to fight me in the UK. I will do it shortly after August the 6th. Do you accept? Tommy Fury then responds with, I wouldn't get out of bed to fight you for 500 grand. Let me know when you're ready to have a serious conversation. Tommy Fury's response. Now, we're going to go back to the issue of him getting into the United States of America as to what it is that he had to say. In my opinion, I don't think that he wrote this. I think his lawyer or somebody else wrote this statement. But that said, he had to green light it regardless. Now, one part he didn't address, which was that Jake Paul has said that his team have contacted Tommy Fury's team to say that all he has to do is go to the Home Office and pick up his ESTA. Of course, the work visa, so he can work in the United States of America for a period up to 90 days. Apparently, they're waiting. That's the impression that we were given, as Frank Warren has done interviews recently as well, and pretty much said the same thing. So he didn't address this as to whether or not he even tried to go to the Home Office to pick up this ESTA. Didn't say whether or not he tried or not. So right now, I'm led to believe that he didn't. Now, as far as him saying that myself or my team could not have anticipated this happening, of course you could have. Your brother has been banned from flying to the United States of America due to connections with, I don't know, is it Daniel Kinahan, MTK, or one or the other, or both, whatever it may be. So that would lead us to believe, because there's 600 people on this list, about 300 of those involved in boxing, that maybe you could be on that list. So before you accepted the fight, surely you could have found out. You've got a team of lawyers. You know people who could have sorted this out to find out whether or not you can enter the United States of America before you accept the fight. And ultimately, Jake Paul, he's the promoter of this fight as well as the fighter. It's up to him to arrange the visa. Apparently, he arranged it. All you have to do is pick it up and you didn't do it. That's the impression that we're given. So did you try and go to the Home Office to pick up your ESTA? Or did you not? If he did and he still got denied, hey, what can you do? There's nothing you can do, okay? But then we move on to Tommy Fury's response to being offered 500 grand to fight in the United Kingdom. Now, when he says that he will fight in a neutral country anytime, any place, anywhere, granted, he didn't say anything about the money, okay? But for this fight to happen in a neutral country, what neutral country can you think of that is going to pay the kind of money that Jake Paul would get in America? What country? Now, Jake Paul, of course, he's a global superstar and entrepreneur and all this kind of stuff. Yes, he's a very, very popular lad. But in America, that's where his core fan base will be. And again, let's not get it twisted. People weren't interested in Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. People were interested in Jake Paul. That's what they're buying tickets for. That's what they're going to buy the pay-per-view for. Tommy Fury brings very little to nothing to this party. He doesn't. Don't get me wrong, he has some value. Of course he does. He's the half-brother of Tyson Fury. He is. He was on that Love Island gig. Again, how did he get that gig? Probably because he's the brother of Tyson Fury, right? He's got a blue tick across his social media accounts. He's got a lot of followers. Yeah. Do they watch boxing? I'm led to believe not. Do you know why I'm led to believe that they don't watch boxing? because he's still been an undercard fighter. If he was doing big numbers and if these people who followed him through Love Island and whatever else were watching him fight in a boxing match, he would be the headliner. But he hasn't been. So that will tell you that this gift, and that's what it was, of $2 million to fight Jake Paul was on the back of Jake Paul. So if you want Jake Paul to go to the United Kingdom, as in your home country, he's going to have to take a pay cut. Because in the UK, Tommy isn't big enough to carry this show, and Jake Paul isn't as big in the UK as what he is in America. So Jake Paul's going to have to take a pay cut compared to what he would have been getting. That means you also need to take a pay cut for this fight to happen in the UK. But it seems that you're not willing to do it. And you're laughing about being offered 500 grand. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Pay-per-view fighter, Mr. Headliner. What kind of money are you making fighting these hand-picked opponents that you've been fighting? And that's what they are, hand-picked. Are you making this kind of money fighting anybody else? So if you just say that you wouldn't get out of bed for Jake Paul for 500 grand, well, are you making this kind of money to fight anybody else? No, you're not. So therefore, that would lead me to believe that you do actually rate Jake Paul and you are nervous of him. So this is about the money. This isn't about what you once said before. I don't care about the money. I'll get in there. I'll bash up this YouTuber. Thus becoming a hero of the boxing world for many people who don't want Jake Paul involved in boxing because they see him as bad for boxing. I don't see him as bad for boxing, but a lot of people do. But that ain't good enough. For you, Tommy, it's about the money. You ain't that global superstar. You bring very little to this fight. Jake Paul can fight anybody he wants and do massive numbers. Can you? No, you can't. Tommy Fury, in my opinion, and most people's opinion, will never become an English champion. Now, don't get me wrong, guarded correctly, he could be. For sure. Is he going to be a light heavyweight, cruiserweight, whatever. But you put him in there with, say, Rob Ismay or Adam Gear, they will smash him to Timbuktu and back. Put him in there with Richard Riakporhe. Richard Riakporhe would kill him in one round. Destroy him. He'd be on the floor twitching. He wouldn't even land a punch on Richard Riakporhe. And Richard Riakporhe isn't a world champion yet. He's still, for many people, domestic level. I think he's a little bit beyond that, but most people would see him still as domestic level. But he would punch Tommy Fury into tomorrow. His ass would land on the moon and his head would land on Mars. So who out there can Tommy Fury fight to earn 500 grand? Who? There isn't anyone. There's not another fighter on the planet that will pay Tommy Fury 500 grand to fight him. Not a Richard Riakporhe, not a Joshua Buatsi, not a Anthony Yarde, not anybody could make him 500 grand. And this is a YouTuber who isn't very good apparently, who you could walk through easy work, offering you 500 grand to fight in your home country, and you're saying no? Tommy TNT Looney Tunes Fury, you're a damn joke is what you are. I'm out. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you next video.